Record, and we are going to get started. I am so excited about today's call. For those that do not know me, or if I am new to you, my name is Jessica Halls. I am here in Utah. It is cold here. The snow, guys, it started snowing yesterday, so I know that winter is coming fast. I am 36 years old. I have 4 kids. They range from 2 to almost 12. I am also a registered nurse. I have been in the medical field for roughly 17, 18 years, and I'm also married to a nurse practitioner. So together we advocate for overall health and wellness. And ironically enough, I was always the nursing student in school that would learn about these patients and people that struggled with their health and diagnoses and side effects of even medications that you take because you have a diagnosis or an illness or a chronic illness or even autoimmune. And I remember telling myself, I will never be that person. I will never struggle with my health. I am a nurse. I'm going to go and just advocate for my health. And sadly enough, that did not turn out how I wanted it to. After I had my second child, I started to struggle with infertility, candida overgrowth, chronic fatigue. I had mono and EBV and CMV. Those are all chronic illnesses. And I was really struggling to get pregnant again. And I was so frustrated because I was doing the things I thought I was eating healthy. My husband's relatively healthy. We are very active. And I was getting frustrated, and I was so closed off to anything outside of Western medicine that's all I knew. And then after we had our third child, with the help of infertility medications and going to a fertility specialist, he is our rainbow baby. And we brought him here, and not even a month after having, let me just a second. There we go. Okay. So not even like after a month of having him, I started having a downward spiral of my health. I started to struggle even more with candida overgrowth, chronic fatigue. My hair was falling out. I had weight gain. I couldn't lose the weight after having babies. I was just in a really bad place. I had a white tongue that had thick layer of like coating, and I had no candida like come up on lab work. My labs were always perfect. I was always told, you are just a tired young mom, go home and take a nap. And little did these colleagues know, because I work with all of them, I was already taking a 2 to 3 hour nap every single day. And, the more I've learned about health, you're either running for the bedroom to take a nap, planning your nap before you even get out of bed in the morning, or you're running for the pantry for a snack. And I didn't know this until even a couple of years into my knowledge of learning about gut health and what our bodies actually need to fuel and to run right, just like how our cars need the right oil to run right. I have completely changed my perspective on what our bodies need to fuel and to thrive and to survive off of, right? And so I was actually diagnosed with celiac disease after months and months of side effects and symptoms and mono exacerbations. And I was at the time taking 30 plus medications, over the counter prescriptions. I was going to the pharmacy every single week to get a prescription refilled. And in fact, my friend Amanda, who's also a nurse, and she's going to be sharing here shortly, she was also one of my really dear friends here in Utah that would babysit my kids so that I could go to another doctor's appointment and wait in the lobby room and pay another copay and then be told, there's nothing wrong with you, just go on your merry way, or here's another medication. And if you have been there, or if you are there now, it is not only just physically exhausting, but it's emotionally exhausting, it's mentally exhausting. And no one at 30 years, 40 years old, 50 years old, 90 years old should feel the way that I felt. We cannot reverse aging, but we can age gracefully and feeling well while doing it. So it wasn't until I was diagnosed with celiac disease that I was like, oh my gosh, I am so thrilled that I have answers. I am going to go gluten-free, which I did. I'm still gluten-free 5 years later. And I felt good, but I didn't feel like I thought I was told I was going to feel. And so it wasn't until a good friend of mine reached out to me about these products. She had posted on social media about this pink drink. And I'll be honest, you guys, as a nurse and my medical background and being married to a nurse practitioner, I thought it was hokey pokey. I'm going to be honest. I was so skeptical, but at the same time, I think it's hokey pokey to be on 30 plus meds at 30 years old. So I decided to take those skeptical blinds off and I decided to invest in my health, because if you have any idea of what illness costs, it's way more expensive, not just financially, but physically, mentally, emotionally. It took time away from my children, from holidays. It's exhausting, and you're taking more naps than you should be. We should not be napping. A 20-minute power nap is wonderful, but you should not be sleeping 3 hours a day, which is what I was doing. And so I decided to order the products. Like I said, I was very skeptical, wanted to return them the same day. And my husband turned to me and he said, Jess, you have never done this before. And everything you have been doing over and over and over again and expecting a different result is insanity, because I'm getting the same result every single time. Every time I see a new doctor, every time I start a new medication, I would still feel horrible all the time. And then I would add another medication, and then I would add another medical bill. We spent $10,000 in 1 year to be told absolutely nothing. And that is so financially depressing, because it took a toll on our finances. We couldn't travel, we couldn't do things because the money that we had extra or didn't have extra, because I was putting things on credit cards, went to mom's health. Mom was always sick. And my girls, I have 2 older girls, they know that. They remember that. My little kindergartner, who's now 9, also has an autoimmune. She also has celiac disease. She remembers me handing her the iPad and saying, Mom's going to take a nap. And this is after she's been gone for school all day. And so it just breaks my heart knowing that we as humans, we just don't know. And this is where knowledge is so, so powerful. And I want to talk to you about why I stand behind these products, why my husband stands behind these products. And if you don't know this, there's a lot of nurses, pharmacists, doctors, nurse practitioners. We stand behind these products because they are changing the way our bodies are functioning. And it's actually how our bodies have always meant to function. But in the world and diet we live in, 30 years ago, I do believe that our soils would have given us every single nutrient we needed, but I do not believe that anymore. And a lot of colleagues that I work with in the Western medicine world also agree. I had one doctor who I highly respect tell me, we are giving ourselves illness by what we put in our mouths. And I truly believe that. And I believe that what we have to offer here is literally crushed up food, all plant-based, all natural, no additives, no preservatives, no food dyes, which is also a huge reason why people are struggling. And I stand behind these products and I trust them so much, because this is absolutely everything that has filled in my puzzle that I was missing for so long. And, I heard on the radio today, I heard, what was the saying? It was like, Band-Aids don't fix wounds. They don't. It's not the Band-Aid that fixes the wound. You have to treat the wound every day for a long period of time. In fact, that's what my husband specializes in, is wound care. He sees these patients for sometimes up to a year to help treat a little tiny wound that we are like healing from the inside out. You have to allow that wound to heal like this. And it can take months and months and months and months. And these patients, they're not going to quit. They're going to keep wanting to heal that wound because they don't want an open wound. And that is the same thing with gut health. You have to start from the inside out to feel good and healed on the outside. And Band-Aids are not going to fix a leaky gut. They're not going to fix chronic illness. They're not going to fix inability to lose weight or insulin resistance. They're not going to fix autoimmune disease. They're not going to fix someone being on 30 plus meds overnight. And that's what I really want to emphasize on today, on when I'm going to talk about these products, and then I'll turn the time over to Amanda. But during this call, I want you to think of one word. I want you to think of the word big. BIG. This is how I remember what these products support and do for your body, for your immune system, for your overall health, your autoimmune. I have an autoimmune. I am an autoimmune warrior. If you have an autoimmune, I see you, I validate you, I feel everything you feel, because we have a lot of struggles and flares and exacerbations. And I know exactly what you're experiencing. But the word big, B is for blood sugar balance. And I want you to think of that as an umbrella to your hormone health. So your thyroid health, your insulin health, your reproductive health, your serotonin health, which actually stems from our gut. 90% of serotonin, which is a sleepy, happy hormone, stems from there. So B is for blood sugar balance. I is for inflammation. This is a huge, huge chronic issue that everyone struggles with, because we feed it with everyday foods that we eat, including dairy, sugar, gluten. So if you can think of things that you eat from those three categories, you struggle with inflammation. And that is the umbrella of candida overgrowth, bad bacteria overgrowth. And when we feed the inflammation, when we feed the bad bacteria, that is when people start to struggle. In fact, you should have about 20% bad bacteria. But what we are seeing, even in the Western medicine world, we are seeing high numbers, almost to 80 to 90% of bad bacteria. And that is very, very scary. And then the word G, or the letter G in the big, is for good gut health replacement. So getting back into the nits and grits of your gut, getting rid of all that bad bacteria, that candida overgrowth, breaking it down, releasing those toxins and flushing them out. And those three things, blood sugar balance, inflammation, and good gut health replacement, will support your overall health, your immune system, your hormone health, your bone health, your cardiac health, your overall health. And that is why I stand behind these products. And to say that I am now 36, taking 0 medications and haven't seen my celiac doctor in almost 5 years absolutely blows my mind, because this went from someone who was chronically dependent on a physician giving me another medication, another diagnosis, another side effect, another unnecessary lab draw, and thousands of dollars and thousands of tears. Amanda, she has been through this entire journey with me, and she can tell you right now, she saw me at my lowest low. And I don't share this with a lot of people, but at 30 years old, when you were planning your funeral thinking, this is it for me, I literally have told very close friends and my spouse that I don't think that I will ever overcome how I was feeling at that time, because not only physically was I strained, but I was emotionally and mentally exhausted. So I'm going to quickly share about 2 of the products that I started on, and then Amanda's going to take over. But the first one is what we are actually known for. It is the pink drink. It comes in a bag like this. We actually have 3 different flavors, and I alternate flavors so I can get a good variety of different things to try. But we do recommend everyone start on this tube right here. This is called our Hunger Control Blood Orange Lemon Lime. It's our actually most popular flavor, and it's also the most gentle. So if you have an autoimmune, if you have a chronic illness, if you had digestive issues or hormone issues, we always recommend this one first. And I would say try it for a month or 2 before you reach out to the person that's helping you and say, hey, I want to try a different flavor. Do you think I'm ready? And if you want to know if you're ready, that's if you're eliminating well, if you don't have stomach aches, if you're tolerating the flavor well, if you're tolerating the side effects of this well, the benefits of this, then you're good to switch. So I do both. The difference in the 2 is the Hunger Control has polydextrose fiber in it, which helps people feel full longer if you're wanting to lose weight, or if you have high sugar cravings or the munchies. It helps you kind of have that sustainability of not needing to eat all day. This has been awesome for people that are diabetic, for that blood sugar. People with diabetes can go like this all day long. So this is really good for people that have diabetes. This smaller stick is our watermelon raspberry, and this one has prebiotic fibers in it, meaning the prebiotic fibers will go into your gut and it will feed your bacteria, both good and bad. So the benefits of both polydextrose fiber and the prebiotic fibers, they're so amazing, but it's always better to start with this one because it's more gentle. So I do both now just to get the benefits of both. Everything else is the same. It's sweetened with stevia, and it's pure stevia, because people will ask that, is pure stevia, which is really good for good gut health, bacteria growth. It's sweet, or the color is given by beetroot extract, which is so important. If you don't know the benefits of beetroot extract, go look it up. It's pretty dang incredible what that can offer you. It has 2 powerful antioxidants in it. One is called alpha lipoic acid, and the other one's called chlorogenic acid. This will help bring out toxins from your body, heavy metals, which we are exposed to every single day. It helps the liver, support the liver. I was celery juicing before Plexus, and if you've ever celery juiced before, you guys, it's nasty. It's horrible. I want peanut butter or ranch right after I drink it. You don't need that after this. This is actually really good. All my kids take it. We make popsicles out of it. It's like a lemonade. It's so, so yummy. What else am I missing on that one, Amanda? I don't think anything else. Oh, and the main thing, you guys, chromium. This is like full of chromium, and you will find chromium in broccoli. You would have to eat about 8 to 9 cups worth of broccoli every single day to get the amount that you get in one stick of pink drink. That is insane to me. I don't eat 9 cups of broccoli, nor do I want to, and you'd have to eat it raw. You can't cook it. But the chromium is really what helps go into your bloodstream, and it targets your blood sugar level and your insulin resistance. And chromium really does help balance insulin levels, insulin production, insulin releasing into your body. And insulin is like the king or queen of your castle. It is in charge of everything, every single hormone that you produce. The insulin will help balance it. So if you have thyroid issues, that insulin will go and help balance thyroid levels. If you have serotonin issues, it will go and help with serotonin release. I love that the chromium really does target hormone health, because everyone needs hormone health. If you have skin or a butt crack, you have hormones and you need chromium. And if you're not getting it from broccoli, which I doubt any of you are, you need to get it from the pink drink. So that's the pink drink. I'm going to go over one more product and then I'm going to send it Amanda's way. But this is called our X Factor. We have 2 multivitamins. One is called X Factor and one is called X Factor Plus. I do not take the plus, so I don't have it. But I love our multivitamin. I'll tell you why. I have always taken a multivitamin my whole life. Even into my adulthood years, I would get the big, huge thing from Costco. I love Costco, you guys. My husband used to work there. It's great. But every vitamin that you take from Costco is not a fully methylated, non-synthetic form. And that is what you need. About 40 to 60% of women struggle with a genetic mutation called MTHFR. Sounds like I'm swearing, but I'm not. This genetic mutation actually impairs your body to digest or absorb synthetic vitamins. So if you are taking like a folic acid, it's going right through you. Your body cannot convert it. And if it does, it takes all the energy to do so. So when people have that form of vitamin, they're like, I don't notice a difference, because your body's taking all that energy to convert it. You need to be on a fully methylated, non-synthetic form. Now, the question's going to be asked, do I have to be tested for that? No, you do not. You can take this knowing if you have MTHFR or not. In fact, a lot of insurance companies don't even cover that cost, and it's about $1,000. So a fully methylated form is really, really, really important, because then you're absorbing and digesting and not using that energy to convert it. It has about 55 trace minerals and vitamins in it. It also has aloe. I want you to think of a burn. You get burned, you pull out the aloe from the fridge, you put the aloe on, and it induces healing. The aloe in the vitamin also does the same thing. It will go in and it will soothe the skin. It will soothe the GI tract, all of that. And it helps heal and absorb foods, nutrients from foods, by like 300 to 400%, which is incredible. So your iron absorption will go up. Your absorption of micronutrients will go up from food. Like, this is helping you digest and absorb nutrients from food, which is really cool. So those are the 2 products of the 4 I started with. And I'm going to turn the time over to Amanda. At the very end, we will leave it open up for any questions. You can either put it in the chat, or you can turn your mic on. We'd love to see your face. If not, just put it in the chat and you can say it out loud. So take it away, Amanda.
All right. Thanks, Jess. That was so good. So I am Amanda Motney. I am also a registered nurse. Jess and I went to nursing school together, and I now live in Northern California and loving it. My background is in emergency medicine. I was there for 9 years. And one of the most common complaints, I would say probably top 3, is abdominal pain. And it was so fascinating to me that people multiple times a day, I mean, you always have 10 plus patients in the emergency room with complaints of gut issues. And so I was thinking about that. And I was also watching Jess go through her thing, 5 years ago, her being diagnosed with celiac and things. And I was so happy for her that she got feeling better. And one day she was talking to me about gut health. And I was like, oh, I don't need it. Like, I'm good. I don't have an autoimmune. I thought it was only for people that had these like diseases or these autoimmune disorders. And she was like, well, Amanda, how many times do you actually poop in a week? It's like 2 or 3 times a week. And she was like, well, that's your disease. Like, constipation was my illness. And so I only started on the probiotic and the BioCleanse. I did this for 2 years, Jess, just these 2 products. And they did help me. I loved them, but it wasn't until I added in the Slim and the blood sugar balance and the balance of my hormones and all the things that it really took a turn for me. So that's a little bit my background. I'm going to start with the probiotic. And these two, I'd like to talk about them together because they're a little married couple. If you're taking one, you need them both. And the probiotic, it's Probio 5. It has 5 digestive enzymes in it. And it also is what I think the best probiotic on the market. And I always tell you, I'll fight you like, because this is why it has, oh my gosh, I just lost my train of thought. It's dehydrated or freeze dried so that it actually withstands the heat of your stomach. It withstands the acid and is able to actually get down into your intestines where it's supposed to be, into the lower bowels. Most probiotic actually dies in your stomach. So if you have all these live strains and you have to have one that's refrigerated, it actually, I'm sorry to tell you, isn't doing anything for you. It's just dying in your stomach. And so this one, I love that. I also love that it has grapeseed extract in it, which works as an antifungal. Because as we're breaking down candida yeast, this also fights that yeast in it. And so I love that. This also has, well, the key ingredient in here, which is what combats yeast, is chitosanase. And I call yeast the cockroach of the stomach because it's really hard to kill. And it has a hard shell, kind of like, I don't know if you can hear this, but like it's really hard to penetrate the shell of candida yeast. And this, the chitosanase in the probiotic, is what helps break that open. And so as it's breaking down the bad and the overgrowth of candida, it's also planting in the good. So I like to think of this as taking the garbage out to the curb. You've taken it out of your house, you've broken it down in your body, but you need the garbage truck to come and pick it up and take it out of your body. This is where BioCleanse comes in, and I only have this gigantic bottle because this is how much I use of this. So BioCleanse is a magnesium supplement. 9 out of 10 Americans are deficient in magnesium. And magnesium is in charge or part of over 800 processes in our body. It's in charge, or it's involved in a lot of things in our body. And BioCleanse I love because it'll get you going regularly. The average American does not poop enough. We should be going 2 to 3 times a day, not 2 to 3 times a week like I was. And this is why this will forever be my OG #1 product, because it helped regulate me. And I didn't know how bad I was suffering with the bloating and constipation until I started this. And what I love about this too is that when you have your coach that helped you sign up, this is the one that we tweak the most, right? So you can start on 1, or I took 6 for multiple months. And 6, you're thinking like, oh my gosh, I would have diarrhea. And that may be for you. And that's why these products are so cool, because you get a coach, because you could buy these at Target, at Costco, and go home and say good luck. And most likely you'll quit because you don't know how to take it for your body. And that's why you have a coach or checking in with you, talking. So it's what's the word? It's adjustable to you. So I still take 4 of these daily, 3 years later. And that's how my body responds. My body needs the extra magnesium where you may only need 1 or 2. And that's okay. So you break down the bad, plant the good with the probiotic, and then you come in with this gentle stool softener, this gentle cleanser, and this is so you're taking it out to the trash, and then you take this, and that is what eliminates it from your body. I always say, if you're pooping more, you're happier, because your body's turning over, right? Not only do you feel better, but your body is stimulating other things, and it's telling your insulin and your like serotonin and melatonin, all those things to function on a higher level when you're turning your body over. So again, these are a married couple. The triplex, which is with the drink, these 2, and then the X Factor, we call it a Fab 4. Those are like, if you were to do nothing else but those 4, and you would change so much about your health. And like Jess said, these things, root healing takes time. And it's so frustrating, especially in the medical world, where I would see again abdominal patients all the time and have to go home with no answers. We would just send them home and say, I'm sorry, like everything looks normal. I wish I had known about this sooner, because I feel like I would have been a more of an advocate in the workplace, because so many people are suffering and people need answers, and they're searching quietly. We're suffering quietly or searching quietly for someone to help, or for something to work for our gut. And as we're seeing, a lot of things in the health world are turning towards gut health right now. And I'm just proud to be like part of the original company. We've been doing gut health since what, like 2008 is when Plexus was founded. And we're just like the OGs of gut health, and their products are phenomenal. Like she said, they're just all plant-based, crushed up food. And so they're not going to interact with all the medications. That's another thing with medications. You always have to be finding what's interacting, what's not interacting. And this, you just know you're eating, like Jess said, crushed up food, which is really cool. So that's a little bit about those. And let me read and see if there's any questions in there, or if anyone wants to unmute. That's kind of the end of our triplex. Okay. There's no questions in there. Does anyone have any questions?
Question.
Oh, go ahead.
I heard, this is kind of a random question, that apple cider vinegar is good for your gut. And so I'm wondering, do we have everything we need for our gut just with our Plexus, right? We don't need to add a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar a day too. That's my question.
That's totally your preference, Joni. You can take it just for the additive benefit, but you don't have to have it.
It tastes terrible. I want permission to not have to take it.
I give you that permission.
Yeah. Kind of like the celery juice. Like, you can have added benefits. There's always things you can add, but you don't need to. But if you want it and you like it, go ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you, girls. Like tightening. Oh,
I did celery juicing with Jess, and it's, yeah.
Thank you. I'm so glad.
You're welcome. I loved what you shared, Shelley. There's nothing worse than being miserable and the doctor's just telling you that you're fine, or you just need to lose weight and you'll be fine, but you can't lose weight no matter what you try. I love that, because before we end the call, unless there's any other questions, the number one hormone imbalance in the entire world right now today, you guys, is insulin resistance. And that is diabetic or not. If you are not diabetic, I'm not diabetic, but the number one insulin resistant, or the number one hormone balance in the world is insulin resistance, because it takes toll of every other hormone. And the one thing I love is the pink drink will support that. Your X Factor vitamin will support that. The magnesium in the BioCleanse that Amanda just talked about also supports hormone health. So if you're struggling to lose weight, it's probably because you are depleted in one way, shape, or form in that big word that we talked about. And that's why I love these products put together, because it will help support your weight loss.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. I also like coming up on 6th season, right? Like 80% of our immunity is found in our gut, and it's all derived from that. And so I don't think I've been sick in 3 years. I haven't, my kids don't get sick. I don't get sick. And so that's another thing to look at. If you catch any, like all the illnesses, or your kids catch all these, I bet if you were to fix their gut, that would improve, especially coming up on winter months. Okay. Are there any other questions? If not, oh, go ahead, Joni.
Can Plexus be sold in a store, or is it just through, I mean, like if we worked at a store, could we have a shelf of it and sell it? Or does it have to be just sold through our home? Or how could you display it? I mean, how would something like that work?
If you want to share it within a store, you would have to be there to be that representation of the company, so that you can help with people's regimen, meet them, help recommend different regimens or products. But the nice thing is we have a huge warehouse in Arizona that does all of that for us and ships out everything for us. So Amanda and I strictly work from home, which is great, but you can display it in a store, but you would have to be there.
I just was curious because when I was in Mary Kay, that could not be sold in a store. It was strictly in home. And I wouldn't want to carry inventory, but I would like to be able to talk about it.
Yeah. Yep. And it's word of mouth. I
Yeah.
do know, and I can say this out loud, you guys, every single one on this call today, right now, you all know people in your life right now that are struggling. And if they're not, if you don't know that they're struggling, they are struggling silently. And I was one of them. Only my close friends and my spouse knew I was struggling. I didn't talk about it. So these products do support everybody that is looking for answers to their health, including my kids. My kids all take the products, and my youngest is 2. And I'm trying right now to help their immunity, their hormone health as they age. Like I said, you can't reverse or prevent aging, but you can help support aging. So hopefully that helps answer your question, Joni.
That's awesome. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, well, if there's nothing else, thank you for coming here. If you have any additional questions, reach out to whoever invited you, and we will get the recording out if you'd like to listen back to it. But yeah, thanks for coming and learning a little bit more.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.